In the late 12th century, the Mongolian steppe was divided by rival clans and constant warfare. A young boy was left without protection, forced to survive in exile. Within decades, he commanded armies that moved faster and farther than any before them. Entire cities fell, and trade routes stretching across Asia were brought under a single authority. Historians continue to debate whether his rise was shaped more by brutality, strategic vision, or political innovation. And while his empire eventually fragmented, the systems he established continued to influence the regions he once controlled. He was born into poverty, exiled and hunted as a child, yet he rose to command the largest contiguous empire in human history. Genghis Khan was more than a conqueror, he was a force of nature. He united warring tribes, shattered mighty kingdoms, and reshaped the world map forever. His name still sparks fear, fascination, and debate across cultures. Was he a ruthless destroyer or a visionary leader? What secrets lie in the myths that surround his rise? In this video, we will explore the life, battles, and legacy of the man who came from nothing and conquered everything. A story of survival, strategy, and ambition beyond limits. This is the true power behind the name, Genghis Khan.
Temujin, later known as Genghis Khan, was born around 1162 on the harsh steppes of Mongolia. His early years were filled with loss, betrayal, and struggle. After his father was poisoned by enemies, his family was abandoned by their tribe. Left to survive on roots and scraps, the boy learned to endure. But hardship did not break him, it shaped him. Even as an outcast, he began forming alliances with those who believed in him. He gained loyalty not through birthright, but through merit, charisma, and strategic marriages. As he grew older, he united rival clans that had fought each other for generations. He promised justice, protection, and spoils to those who followed, and death to those who did not. His reputation spread far beyond his homeland. He defeated the most powerful tribes in the region and declared himself Genghis Khan, universal ruler. This was not just a title, it was a declaration of a new world order. He had turned chaos into unity and weakness into strength. From the frozen steppes, a new empire was born, one that would soon shake the world.
To understand Genghis Khan, we must first understand the boy he once was. Life on the Mongolian steppe was already unforgiving, but for Temujin, it was even crueler. After his father's death, his tribe cast his family out, leaving them to starve. At a young age, he learned what it meant to be powerless. He hunted to feed his brothers and fought to survive another day. These early wounds left scars, but also carved resilience. He witnessed betrayal, suffered captivity, and even killed his own half-brother to protect his future. Yet somehow, in the midst of this brutal world, he began to believe he was meant for more. The boy who was abandoned would one day become a leader others feared and followed. Pain made him ruthless, but it also gave him purpose.
Temujin's early life was marked by brutal survival. After being abandoned, his family lived in fear of enemy raids and starvation. He learned to fish, hunt, and fight before most children could speak. His mother taught him strength, endurance, and never to beg. At one point, he was captured by a rival tribe and enslaved. He wore a wooden collar, humiliated and watched, but even in chains, he was patient. One night, he escaped with the help of a sympathetic jailer. That moment planted the seed of something deeper, that loyalty could be earned, even from enemies. As a teenager, he formed blood bonds with allies and took revenge on those who betrayed his family. His first military actions were not grand campaigns, but sharp, precise acts of vengeance. He moved carefully, studying his rivals, building trust with powerful clans. Each small victory brought new warriors to his cause. Bit by bit, the orphan became a leader. The future Genghis Khan was taking shape, one hardship at a time.
Temujin's rise to power was not written in the stars. It was carved through struggle. He built alliances with other families not by fear alone, but by sharing spoils and showing fairness. He rewarded loyalty and punished betrayal without hesitation. His network grew, slowly at first, then rapidly. He did not simply gather fighters, he organized them. He introduced discipline, structure, and unity to a people used to chaos. No tribe had ever achieved what he was attempting: complete control of the Mongol steppes. Through vision and violence, he succeeded. When the time came, the clans gathered and declared him Genghis Khan. The man once hunted like an animal now ruled over thousands.
As Temujin gained more followers, he began reshaping Mongol society from the inside. He replaced traditional tribal loyalty with personal loyalty to him as leader. Warriors were grouped into units of 10, 100, and 1,000, each responsible to their commander, not their clan. This created a military force that operated with unmatched coordination. He promoted based on skill, not bloodline. Even slaves could rise to power if they proved their worth. This idea was revolutionary for a tribal world divided by blood feuds. He also introduced strict laws, known as the yasa, to maintain order across the growing ranks. Unity came at a price. Temujin crushed rivals and wiped out those who resisted. His campaigns were swift, brutal, and effective. Each victory brought more people under his rule, from horsemen to craftsmen. He absorbed knowledge, technologies, and cultures, learning from every group he conquered. The steppes, once a battlefield of endless tribal wars, were now united under one banner. In 1206, he was officially proclaimed Genghis Khan, meaning universal ruler. A new empire had begun, not by accident, but by design.
Some believed Genghis Khan was chosen by the heavens. Others saw only a man who mastered the world through reason and will. Mongol traditions spoke of blue wolves and sacred births. Prophets claimed he was destined to rule all under the sky. But Genghis never called himself a god. He used mythology, not as belief, but as a tool to unify and inspire. His actions showed logic, not magic. He understood how faith shaped people, and he shaped it in return. Whether divinely guided or naturally brilliant, his rise felt unstoppable, and perhaps that is where myth and truth became one.
Throughout Mongol history, legends spoke of a ruler who would unite the tribes. Some believed Genghis Khan was that destined figure. His lineage traced back to the blue wolf, a sacred symbol of Mongol identity. Prophecies whispered of a leader chosen by the eternal sky. Genghis used these stories to strengthen his claim, not only politically but spiritually. He often referred to his victories as the will of heaven. But behind the divine image was a man of reason, adapting fast and thinking clearly. He understood that belief could bind people stronger than fear. While other rulers demanded worship, he demanded discipline. He respected the gods of conquered people and allowed religious freedom. This created loyalty across cultures and regions. His myth grew with every conquest. To his people, he was not only a ruler, but a living symbol. Whether he believed in the myths or only used them is unclear, but he became the myth itself, larger than life, beyond logic.
Once the Mongol tribes were united, Genghis Khan turned outward. He saw no boundaries, only opportunities. His armies swept across Asia with unmatched speed and precision. Cities fell, kingdoms shattered, and fear spread ahead of him. Yet this expansion was not chaos, it was calculated. He studied enemy weaknesses, used spies, and struck without warning. Every campaign had a goal, control, resources, or revenge. But each success only fed his ambition. Conquest became more than survival. It became destiny, and the world had never seen anything like it before.
Genghis Khan launched one of the most ambitious military campaigns in human history. His forces first struck the Western Xi and Jin dynasties in China, using siege tactics that overwhelmed even fortified cities. He then moved westward, challenging the powerful Khwarezmian Empire. When its ruler executed his envoys, Genghis responded with total war. City after city fell, some never rebuilt. The Mongol army moved with such speed that it seemed to appear from nowhere. They used psychological warfare, sparing those who submitted and erasing those who resisted. Precision, Dashlow's mobility, and intelligence made them almost invincible. They adapted technologies from every region they conquered: Chinese catapults, Persian engineers, Islamic mathematics. No army in the world was so flexible, so efficient. But the conquest was not just military, it was administrative. Genghis reorganized conquered lands, demanded tribute, and installed trusted governors. Trade routes were reopened and secured under Mongol watch. In less than 2 decades, Genghis created an empire stretching from the Pacific to the Caspian Sea. His expansion was not a side effect of power, it was its very expression.
Genghis Khan was not just a destroyer, he was also a builder. After conquest came order, and for order he created laws. His code, known as the yasa, applied to everyone, rich or poor, Mongol or foreign. Theft, betrayal, and disobedience were met with swift justice. But so was loyalty rewarded. He promoted literacy, encouraged diplomacy, and protected trade routes. Messengers could ride from one side of the empire the other without fear. He welcomed scholars, artisans, and merchants from across continents. His empire became not only the largest, but one of the most connected.
Genghis Khan's leadership transformed more than just borders. It redefined governance. He introduced a structured postal system known as the Yam, enabling communication across vast distances. Way stations and fresh horses were placed along trade routes to support couriers, creating one of the first international networks. Religious tolerance became official policy, allowing Buddhists, Muslims, Christians, and others to live under the same rule. Genghis believed that loyalty was more important than belief. He encouraged local leaders to continue managing their communities as long as they paid tribute and followed Mongol law. He gathered knowledge from captured scholars and craftsmen, bringing it back to his capital. Paper currency, census records, and even environmental protections were discussed during his rule. His legal reforms reduced corruption and centralized authority. The empire became a hub for trade, culture, and scientific exchange. The Silk Road flourished under Mongol protection, connecting east and west like never before. Foreign merchants, including Marco Polo's family, began traveling freely through Mongol lands. Genghis valued order, not chaos, and his empire reflected that. His vision of unity through law and mobility left a framework that lasted long after his death. It was not only swords that built his empire, but system.
For a man who changed the world, Genghis Khan left behind no confirmed grave. According to tradition, his burial was kept secret, hidden deep in the Mongolian wilderness. The soldiers who escorted his body were said to have killed anyone who saw the funeral procession. Some tales claim a river was diverted over the tomb to conceal it. Others speak of forests grown deliberately to mask its location. Despite modern technology and decades of searching, the site has never been found. The absence of a tomb only deepens the mystery of his legacy. Was it humility, superstition, or control that led to such secrecy? What lies beneath the earth might never be uncovered. But even in death, Genghis Khan continues to command attention.
Historians and explorers have long searched for the final resting place of Genghis Khan. Ancient accounts say that after his death in 1227, his body was brought back to Mongolia in complete silence. Those who buried him were reportedly killed to protect the location. Some believe the funeral procession trampled the earth to erase any signs. Others suggest artificial hills or forests were created to hide the site. Over the centuries, myths and local legends pointed to regions near the Kenti-I Mountains. In modern times, satellite imaging and archaeological surveys have narrowed the possible locations, yet no evidence has ever been confirmed. Some researchers argue that the secrecy was intentional, to keep Genghis Khan sacred, unreachable, and eternal. His followers may have believed that a known grave could become a target or a tool of politics. Unlike kings who built pyramids or golden tombs, Genghis left behind no monument. His legacy was not in stone, but in stories, laws, and empires. Perhaps that was the intention all along, to live in memory, not in a tomb. The mystery continues to inspire new expeditions and debates, and the unanswered question only strengthens his legend.
Nearly 800 years have passed, but Genghis Khan's influence remains. His empire reshaped the world map and connected civilizations that had never touched before. Languages, laws, and even genetics still carry his mark. Some nations remember him as a hero, others as a destroyer, but none can deny his impact. He challenged ideas of leadership, merit, and cultural integration. His model of governance influenced future empires, from Russia to China. Even today, his name is used in politics, education, and cultural identity. His shadow stretches across time, not just through war, but through transformation, and that shadow has never truly faded.
The legacy of Genghis Khan is more than the story of battles and borders. His empire laid the groundwork for a new kind of global interaction. The Mongol Peace, or Pax Mongolica, allowed trade, travel, and communication across thousands of kilometers. For the first time in history, a traveler could go from China to Europe under one authority. Ideas, inventions, and religions moved freely, sparking changes that would later shape the modern world. Paper money, medical knowledge, and cartography advanced through this open exchange. The empire's tolerance for different beliefs created rare moments of coexistence. In legal history, his code inspired centralized authority and equal justice. Even his postal system became a model for later governments. In genetics, studies show that millions today carry his DNA, a testament to both his influence and reach. His name has appeared in literature, film, and political rhetoric. He has been used as a symbol of both terror and greatness. In Mongolia, he remains a national icon. In the West, he is a subject of endless analysis. No other conqueror has shaped identity, geography, and memory in such a lasting way.
He was a man born in obscurity who died as the ruler of half the known world. Genghis Khan changed not just who ruled, but how the world was ruled. His vision blended order and brutality, faith and tolerance, destruction and creation. He united the steppe, broke ancient empires, and stitched together continents. His story is a reminder of how power, when paired with purpose, can alter the course of history. And yet, so much about him remains unknown. That mystery is part of his strength. It keeps us asking, learning, and rethinking what we know about leadership, legacy, and human potential. If this story challenged or inspired you, let us know in the comments. And if you want more journeys through the past, like this video, share it, and subscribe for more.